Hi there. This is Maybe Action Museums Are For Me, everyone's, well, hopefully everyone's preferred museum and arts podcast brought to you by the Montclair Art Museum. I'm Alex Pavluk, your host of this niche little show, and it's my great honor to share with you an interview with a young man who is quite remarkable. Not terribly long ago, I sat down with Tyler Chan. Now, who is Tyler Chan? You may be asking yourself. It's a fair question. I surely thought the same when Ira Wagner, our executive director here at the museum, asked me to meet with Tyler. What I then came to learn was that Tyler's a local photographer from Montclair. He specializes in documentary photography. He graduated from Montclair High School in 2020, which is evidently the same year that I graduated high school as well. And he's amassed a rather impressive body of work documenting life as Gen Z teenagers and young adults, both in and out of high school, on the streets of New York, as well as all across his hometown here in Montclair. The collection of photographs titled Montclair Stat Memories is to be on view here at MAM in March and will be Tyler's first solo museum show. So really exciting, and he's a really great dude. So, Tyler's work really grabbed me in a special way. We grew up in very different worlds. I'm from a rural community and graduated with hardly 100 kids in central New Jersey. He spent his high school years documenting the pace of life for young people here in northern New Jersey and also in New York City. He did that by almost being a fly on the wall. He was given access to some deeply personal moments by being not just a friendly face with his subjects, but being their true friend. And it's not just he had access to these experiences through his lens, but he was their peers. He was one of them. He was going through this personally, just like, even though, again, different worlds, I was too. Being a kid is tough. Being a teenager is even tougher. And to do it in a world where, screens are constantly telling you who to be and how to act and where to look, and attention is a commodity and influence is a currency. It's scary. And despite Tyler and I growing up in these very different worlds, like I keep saying, I can see parallels to a shared experience, pressures and wonders of growing up in this rapidly changing and confusing environment that I experienced, my friends experienced, the people around me experienced, my sibling experiences. And, I'm sure many of us across the country, if not world, have also felt these pressures. Tyler's photos embody something all of us can connect with. That's genuinely how I feel. And, I'm going to link these photos. You could find them on our Instagram that I'm talking about, or you could come see the show. But regardless, I digress. Tyler and I have a much larger conversation to come, and I'm just really excited to share that with everybody. So without further ado, Tyler is currently a student overseas in Rotterdam, and he was home in Montclair for his winter break when we got the chance to sit down and chat about his craft and the show that's soon to come. So without any further pause, Tyler Chan. How's it going? Welcome back to Maybe Action Museums Are For Me. I'm Alex Pavluk, the digital content strategist here at the Montclair Art Museum. And I'm joined today with Tyler Chan, an incredible photographer who is going to be on view here at the museum pretty soon. And he's here to chat with us about his upcoming show and all the cool stuff that he's doing. But I want to give, Tyler the floor, obviously, to introduce himself and let our audience know, what's up.
Yo, what's up, Alex? Thank you for having me today on this beautiful podcast. It's my first podcast. Oh, just kidding, my second.
What was the first podcast?
I forgot. It was for my school club in school.
I hear you.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Now, what should people know about you and your artwork?
Well, specifically for what's coming up in April here, Montclair Snap Memories, I'll let you know that I still am a documentary photographer. And I'm somebody who focuses on community, documenting community, but also specifically for this one is all about documenting Montclair and specifically the teens in the high school, public high school. That's what I photographed and telling the story of.
We'll talk about the specifics of the work in a little bit, but I first wanted to ask, what drew you to photography?
Yeah, it started for me when I was 15, freshman year in school at Montclair High School, and I was just somebody that was kind of obsessed with disposable cameras. Not really photography, but I was into this thing that you can take pictures and get a little surprise later by bringing it to the store and waiting a month, aka CVS. But that kind of grew into me just liking to take a lot of pictures at school. Then like a year went by and I started getting film, point and shoot cameras.
Yeah.
Then it just kept leveling up. But really, I liked photographing the action that was going on in school.
And, that's definitely like since evolved. I think what's really cool and exciting is your experience going abroad and shooting out there and going to school. Can you, talk a little bit about that experience and like maybe how that's, I think both evolved you as a photographer. I know you cite yourself as a documentary photographer, but also in a way maybe helped reflect on the work that you captured while in high school here in Montclair.
Yeah. As we were saying before, like after photographing for 5 years in high school and then that last year of COVID lockdown after, I had a chance to really reflect looking back at that era or like that period of growing up time with all my peers, because I had the responsibility to tell the story of like my generation and this current generation, the suburban Montclair high school kids from class of 2020.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, also, yeah. So I'm a student in Willem de Koning Academy. It's in Rotterdam, the Netherlands. It was kind of like a life hack to go abroad for school to study photography, something I really wanted to do, but was not fully supported by my family until that was a nice solution to go abroad and have that experience. But anyways, I think I've grown really as a person because I got really uncomfortable, which is a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
In my time moving over there. And yeah, I've just been surrounded with people from around the world who are also pursuing artistry. It's like the coolest thing. I've been opened up, my scope is opened up, and it's like a crazy full circle to come home and be bringing this work to the Montclair Art Museum.
Yeah. The Montclair Art Museum is somewhere that you actually were, in a way, a staffer of. I came to learn, which is kind of funny. You were a summer art counselor.
Yes.
Is that a weird experience? Like, I just interviewed a friend and colleague who was also a counselor who recently got hired in the curatorial department. And, it was very funny. I was like kind of half jokingly being like, did you ever think that you'd be like, whatever? Like, is that something you kind of feel when you're back here? Because when was the last time, aside from when obviously you've gotten on the radar of, Ira Wagner, our executive director, and the museum itself, when was the last time you were here?
Well, I'm lucky. I get to come home every New Year's and every summertime.
Mm-hmm.
So the last time was in the summer when I first met Mr. Wagner, and I was very grateful to be introduced to him. I actually kind of had to be clever in how I would reach to the Montclair Art Museum. I didn't know, to answer your question, as a summer camp counselor, I didn't care about being an artist. It was a coincidence that I was here. I wasn't into art yet, I think, actually. I was 14. That was before 15. So, yeah. But anyways, last summer, I was able to find my connection inside here, and I was very thankful to have the opportunity to share this work.
Yeah.
I thought
it's really great work. And,
thank you.
I think you have this like keen ability to embed yourself in a moment and almost hide. You hide in a way that your presence is still felt, at least to me when I view your work. I think that you're able to make the subject really comfortable in a way where you as the subject kind of, you forget that there's even somebody else there. It's a really innate talent that I just think is incredible. How did you hone that skill?
Man, thanks for saying that. I try to be like that every time, but I think I had the best cheat sheet, like best opportunity, first opportunity also in Montclair, because I had already gained the trust and had the relationship with all of my peers, like since kindergarten.
Yeah.
So it was so easy to go along and make photos and make my subjects, aka my best friends,
yeah,
think that I'm not even there, like I'm invisible, because they really don't care that I'm there. It's like I would be there either way. But yeah, thanks a lot for saying that.
Yeah. Do you have I mean, obviously, when it's your friends that are involved and people that you're familiar with, that's one thing. Since you've been abroad, have you? How has that grown for you? Is it do you find it difficult to approach? I mean, you're one of the most personable and like friendly people I've ever met. Frankly,
Thanks, Alex.
you're really genuinely like such a kind soul. I assume you don't struggle walking up to somebody on the street and kind of just trying to engage them for a photo.
Unless they speak Dutch only.
Unless they speak Dutch.
Which
Fair
happens.
Enough. It does happen. Have you picked up any Dutch?
Yeah, ik spreek een beetje Nederlands. I speak a little Dutch.
Okay.
But that's like one of the only things I know how to say.
Yeah.
No, I can speak a little bit. But to answer that, yeah, it's a lot of building trust also. When you're in your first year, I'm in my third year there. Fourth school year, but third year there.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, in the first year, I could say, like with confidence, I was ready to come home. In my first 3 months, I was calling my mom like, hey, okay, that was a little too crazy of me to decide to do. Like, I really want to come home now. It's weird. It's really like a culture shock. Like, I've gotten thrown into water and
we got to learn how to swim.
Yeah, exactly, right? You have to stick it out. That's what my parents told me.
Yeah.
And more good advice people told me to stick it out. And I did, and I love it.
Yeah.
But that first year, when you're in a new place, it could be wherever you're put in the world, say as a photographer or whoever, someone wanting to connect to community, you got to get yourself in uncomfortable situations.
Yeah.
And you got to talk to strangers and you're going to like muster up the courage. But once you do it, it's very satisfying and an awesome feeling. And what you kind of got to do, if you want to make it, you better go talk to that guy. It's not a big deal.
Yeah. Kind of talking about like, I guess, pivoting back a little bit to the work that's going to be on view. Can you, tell me a little bit about this series of photographs? What should an audience know about the work that's going to be on view here at BAM?
Yeah. Well, this body of work is really a documentary, and one that I haven't seen before, meaning like a documentary really on high school period, growing up teenagers, and just the settings that I've captured the scenes at, aka a rap music video at Glenfield Park, or a fight in the gym locker room of Montclair High School, or the things that people participated in at lunchtime, then heading back to school. I will just tell you the stories of what you guys, I didn't really know my kids were doing that at high school. Or, whoa, I didn't know that happens in my town. I never go down by Glenfield or something. So I'm just here to show you the story of what is going on in Montclair.
What you witnessed.
Yeah, what I witnessed and what's going on here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think your work in this show, obviously you just spoke to it, but it shows life in and around Montclair High School. I hesitate to even say post-pandemic because it was during the pandemic for a chunk of it, I'm sure, which is already a really, confusing time. Add a world health crisis on top of it. I think, though, what you created is this really unique compendium of culture and, the experience of being, I don't even it's called Snap Memories. I understand that it's alluding to Snapchat and Gen Z, but I think that thematically and emotionally, anyone can see themselves in these photos and can see their own version of youth in the photos. I know I do. I mean, I'm of the same generation, and I look at these photos and I grew up in a very different place. I'm from Ocean County. I'm from a very rural community. I graduated with, barely 100 kids. But when I look at some of the photos and I look at the, I think sometimes the performative confidence or the just the very raw angst that is sometimes coming through, it's very tangible and it's very beautiful and it's very poetic. And I guess, the growing pains that are kind of on display in these photos are really powerful. And I just want to know, like, what did you learn from capturing these photos about, yourself, your friends, your community, anything of the sort?
High school is a beautiful time also, like a molding time for teenagers. And especially in that senior year when COVID had hit, it was quite sad because I didn't see some people again after that. Like, we were in school one day. It was March 2020. The hockey game championship happened, and then I didn't see so many people ever again. But
wait, what? You graduated in 2020?
Yeah.
Why did I think I was? No, we're the same. I'm 23, but I graduated.
Oh, we're the same age. Yeah, I'm 22.
I was 2020. I was class of 2020 also.
Okay. Yeah, so we like the same. But that last year, I missed so many people because we grown up all together since kindergarten, many people. Mm-hmm. And then you wish the best for everybody. Yeah. Everybody's taking different paths. Some people had already dropped out and you don't know where they are.
Oh yeah. I recall. It was a weird time.
Yeah. But at least I have this nice memory photo book and I was able to give it out to everybody and they can reflect and they can come to the Montclair Art Museum in their town and check this out, which I think is so cool.
Yeah. I want to, I don't want to keep you too long. I know we've already recorded a video and I'm sure.
Chill.
Yeah, I know.
I'd like to talk.
But I do have one or two more pointed questions. But when I was talking about what I identify in your work about your this keen ability to be both present but also hidden, I think of another photographer who I've interviewed, Ed Cashy, who's really great. He was a photographer for Nat Geo, and
he is really great.
And I guess I'm just curious, like, who do you pull inspiration from? Because I do see Ed's work in yours.
Yeah, Ed, Mr. Cashy. I haven't met him, but if you're listening, I'm a very big fan of your work, and I also saw a video of it here at the Montclair Art Museum, so nice to follow. But I was introduced to him through another mentor of mine, Mr. Joseph Rodriguez, who's a really street legend to me from New York. But he's somebody in his photography who's like an idol to me. But I've also had the super pleasure to speak to some of my favorite photographers, and I'm somebody that had printed their pictures and put it on the wall of my room.
Yeah.
But really the awesome lessons I've learned is talking to them. For example, Mr. Joseph Rodriguez, Mr. Jamel Shabazz, Mr. Stacy Samadine, who's my main mentor, really my mentor over in Rotterdam. But they've just taught me the skills of have trust, build trust, genuine trust with the subjects. Don't make it some one day thing. Move really slow, build relationships genuine from your heart, and take your time and just take your time.
Mm-hmm.
But number one, genuinity, not about camera technique or anything. All these guys have just taught me to take time, and it's 90% about human interaction, not about cameras or clicking it at all.
Yeah.
It's just about human connection.
Yeah. I think that's really beautiful. And I think a really great place to kind of put a bit of a bookend. But I do have one last question.
Yeah.
First, thank you for sitting down and doing this interview.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
listen. Cool.
It's really incredible work, and I'm thrilled that I get to be a small part in getting the word out there to people.
You're a big part. You're doing the.
I don't know about all of this. I don't know about that, but I think something that I like to ask every artist that I talk to. I think it's important for the community to understand what's at the museum.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of times that the community at large tends to look past MAM.
Mm-hmm.
Not because they don't know it's here, but because they sometimes forget.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of the time people don't necessarily know what's inside the walls of the museum.
Yeah.
And I think if somebody was going to venture here for the first time, I think that is the, the crux of this show, is getting people not just in the door of man, but museums and, in the art world in general, is opening that door, demystifying, democratizing art.
Yes.
And I think photography and what the work that you do is a hugely democratic thing. I think that it allows people, through both the, actual act of taking and capturing the work, but also enjoying and experiencing the work. It's, it's this kind of really just remarkable thing that we hope to open the doors to. And I guess my long-winded question is, why should the community come see this show? You're from the community, you're of the community. You went to public high school, you went to Montclair Public High School. You have a very unique experience that also thousands of other people have, even if they are different in their own little facets. And I think you display something that, even if it's this really unique experience that not necessarily everyone has on a one-to-one basis, they can find, similarities in. I know I do, and I come from a very different community.
Yeah.
Why should Montclair see this show?
Yeah. Well, I think residents of Montclair, if you haven't checked out the art museum also, if you're not a usual museum goer, maybe you don't even have to be into art. You don't have to be into art or photography or like anything. Just come check out some vibe. Check out, if you're from here, you might even bump into some more people that you haven't seen around town or whatever it may be. But this should be an awesome opportunity for people to come together of Montclair and reflect on Montclair. Even if you're not from Montclair, if you've went to school, maybe you can just look back on these memories that I've had from my eyes and you'll be able to relate. And it might make you feel something. But I can also share that before I was 15, I didn't have any interest in going to any museum. Like, even being here at my parents' house in Montclair, besides being a volunteer here when I had to come on the weekends, I had no interest in checking out the art show or anything. And I guess it's for the reason, like, I don't know, in high school, nobody ever did that unless you were studying art and like in the art class. But me and my friends, yeah, no way we're going to the art museum. But that should totally be squashed. That idea should be squashed because maybe it's just because everybody else is not doing it that it's not normal to go. But this can be a nice party place, like not party, but when this opening happens, it should be an awesome opportunity for everybody to come together and hug and be like, oh my God, I haven't seen you. Look at that picture of, I don't know, Eamon. He looks crazy. Now he's 5 years older. He looks all different. Like,
it's a class reunion.
Yeah, it's like a high school reunion. So all the students should come. Like, if you're a current Montclair student now, you should come check it out. If you're a parent, if you're from surrounding places, I think it's just a good, fun time and will make you feel something in your soul. You should definitely come check out my show, but also the other amazing artists in this museum and just the community vibe. We're blessed with the art museum in our town here in New Jersey. That doesn't happen. I don't see many art museums in towns here. So it's beautiful. Yeah. Take it from me, a guy who didn't usually go. Now I really love it. So give it a chance and check it out.
Well, Tyler, thank you so much. I really appreciate you sitting down for this.
Thank you, Alex. It was so fun.
Where can people find you? On social media, out and about, obviously, across the pond. But where can people find your work?
Yes, well, you can check me out on Instagram at Prof Daydreamer. It's Professional Daydreamer, but I shorten it to Prof. Not Professor, though. Professional Daydreamer is my Instagram. Yeah, check me out there.
Perfect. Well, Tyler, thank you so much.
Thank you, Alex, so much. Thank you.
That was Maybe Actually Museums Are For Me. Thank you so much to Tyler Chan for sitting down to chat with me this episode. I really appreciate it more than I could properly express. Your work is incredible. Check out Tyler's show, Montclair Snap Memories, here at the Montclair Art Museum in the Community Gallery, coming this April. The museum's open weekends and Fridays, so Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. You can check us out online. We have a YouTube channel, social media, all that stuff. You could follow us on Instagram at Montclair. That's MAM Montclair. You can find us on TikTok and YouTube by just searching the Montclair Art Museum. What else? What else am I missing? I think that's it. I think it's all the relevant information that I usually dump at the end of these. But yeah, thanks so much for sticking to the end of this episode. Please give us a rate and review. It helps us more than I could ever possibly describe. So yeah, thanks so much, and we will talk to you next week. Bye.